Thank you so much, Marina. Yes, I have passed the roti test. Haven't had doubles yet, but that's maybe for tomorrow morning, right? We'll get there. Thank you, Marina, and thank you to everyone from PSI-Caribbean. This has been an incredible trip so far, and it's really an honor to be here amongst a group of such dedicated people and to be a part of helping to end violence against women and girls. There was a recent study that looked at what made people successful in life, and the answer wasn't what any of us would think, probably. More than intelligence, more than education, grit and tenacity was the overriding factor in what made somebody successful. So I've thought a lot this week about some of the people that I've met who are helping to end gender-based violence. And I don't know if this is just a Trini quality and characteristic, but so many of the women that I've met really have been just incredibly determined and tenacious. Liz from the shelter, hi Liz, recounted to us how she and a group of friends started the shelter with just a few rolled up mattresses, mats, and a tremendous need in the community and the will to help. Indrani, who I've met this week and had the great fortune of getting to know, at age 50 dealt with the trauma of her abuse that she suffered and competed in a triathlon and started a foundation to help end violence against girls and women at age 50, which has now become a huge global effort. A few days ago, I actually got to spend some time with young people to learn about HIV prevention, and there again was the sheer grit and determination. Standing at the front of the room were these mismatched pair of PSI peer educators. One was really tall, Taika, and the other was a little shorter, Kimberly, but both of them were just so powerful and engaging and tenacious again. Before the session began with the kids, I was talking to Kimberly, one of the peer educators, about the launch here today, and she broke down crying because there was one powerful, tenacious woman that unfortunately I was unable to meet. Her name was Fabiola, and she was also a PSI peer educator who had recruited Kimberly into the field, actually. And she was this tiny, free-spirited person who was incredibly inspirational. And obviously, it takes that kind of personality to get through teens to talk about HIV. Kimberly recounted how Fabiola had started dating a man and began to withdraw from her friends and her community and became more and more isolated, hard to reach, which wasn't typical of Fabiola. Less than a year later, she was married to this man, and a few months after that, she was dead at the hands of her husband. She was killed inside the bathroom of a church. And I remember sitting there quietly wondering how something like this could happen, especially to a woman who was seemingly so empowered like Fabiola. And it was really a somber reminder of the power of physical and emotional abuse and the psychological degradation that isolates and separates and eventually destroys. I then asked Kimberly if she was happy that PSI was sort of segueing into this side of work and addressing gender-based violence. And she paused for a moment and then smiled and said, yes, she was. She was very proud. She was proud and said she was excited to see how PSI was going to use its innovative and, as she called it, radical ways in this effort. And I'm excited as well. I couldn't agree with her more. Thank you very much again for having me. Thanks again to everyone from PSI-Caribbean for putting a trip like this together. And using all of your power and tenacity and grit to stand behind this. So thank you very much.